Hi, Joakim Haak is my name, and as you heard, I work with Group Treasury at Telia company. Today I will talk about the work that we've done with trying to tackle the need for today and tomorrow for payments within Telia. And just to give you a little bit of a backdrop, I shows a picture of a Kenyan river delta, and that could actually be the picture and the business map of Telia with the different channels that we have. It's very widespread and it's very diverse. It changes all the time, and it looks really, really different, the different streams. So why am I here? Treasury in Telia has the overall responsibility for the financial supply chain and the infrastructure that we built to create cash flow within the group. We started to do a mapping of the payment solutions that we do have, or that we did have some few years back. And what we saw that is, even though that every different channels that we have, although different and both in intensity and largeness or size, they have their own payment solutions. We saw that draw very much risk and very much cost, and because there was very little coordination between the channels within the country, and even less so between the countries. And most importantly, perhaps, what we saw was that the user experience in these different channels, they differed a lot. You can be a B2B customer and B2C customer at the same time, yes, in Telia. And depending on the channel, you should recognize yourself as a Telia channel. It should be trustable, it should be easy, accessible, but still you should recognize yourself in your user experience. And we couldn't really see that. So, in order to address this, we went to the ones closest to us, the CFOs, obviously. And this is a picture that I showed the CFO management team in early 2018. Describing that it's been a stormy weather, not only within Telia with the business change that we see, but also externally on the payments market. We have new technology, we have new actors, new services, driving new customer experience and customer expectations, and behaviors. And it seems that it changes in an even faster pace all the time. At the same time, we have built an infrastructure which is quite messy. Without the coordination between the different streams, it would be very hard to tackle changes, both internal and external, and adopt accordingly in a good way. The answer, or the propositions that we had, was that we needed one payment strategy to cover the whole company. We needed one center of excellence to execute on that one strategy, and we needed one engine to drive it. This would harmonize and improve the user experience. This would lower the risk in the business complexity and the technical complexity, and it would also shorten the time to market. In order to change according to where our customers want us to be. The CFOs, they sort of liked the idea. I don't know whether they actually understood everything what we were talking about, but they liked the idea, and they gave us the assignment of putting a strategy together. And in order for us to do that, we couldn't do it all by ourselves. We understood that much. So we rounded up people from across the group. Approximately 50 people in total were involved in the work, but we distilled a handful of people to a cross-functional core team that worked on the strategy and the proposals going forward. So the game plan that we came up with was to create one unit, and we called it Payment as a Service, because we wanted this unit to actually create a service to our channels, a service to our business to service their customers. They should not only have the responsibility, but also the mandate to drive change within the group when it comes to payment solutions and related services. And they should do it in 3 steps. Now, and it sounds really, really easy. Fix the mess. That basically means to consolidate the business landscape and the technical landscape into a target landscape where we use fewer suppliers and where we use one engine to drive and process all payments. To this engine and to this service, the channels can then apply. What that will do is that will lower the cost, obviously, and it would shorten the time to market, because we need to do the changes in one place rather than in 50 or 100 places. Then, of course, if we are to service the whole group across all 7 markets, we need to make the menu complete. We need to serve a Swedish smorgasbord, if you like, of payment services to each and every channel. There's no channel that wants everything, but at least there's something for all the channels there. We should also make it easy and accessible for the channels to reach. Otherwise, they will never adopt it. Finally, we want to make it shine, to make use of all the competence within the group of Payment as a Service, to make use of the completeness of the menu, if you'd like, and the ability to funnel all the information and all the transactions through one engine to create a better user experience for all our customers, whatever payment situation they're in. Now, that's very easy to say. That's very not so easy to do. But the CFO management team, they liked this, and they wanted us to go ahead. The problem, though, or the issue, was that payments had no real natural way of a harbor for ownership. Was it Treasury that owned payments? Was it finance? Was it the CFO community? Was it IT or the channels? So, to make a very long story short, a few months of negotiations and a few months of discussing, there was a decision made to start up Payment as a Service and to anchor it into a new operating model that was introduced anyways. That took us about 6 months. But then, at least, we had the backing of not only the CFO community, but also the IT community and the commercial community with the channels. So it was a fairly well anchored decision. Now, that that was us having a decision to go ahead. Now, we had, up until then, a lot of PowerPoint promises. Now it was time for us to actually realize it into actual actions. And it was real people that needed to be transferred. It was real mandate that needed to change hands and real responsibilities to be sought. Also, there was real ownership of actual solutions that needed to change hands. So there was a lot of work going on to prepare us to go live. And that took us about 6 months after the decision to go ahead to actually go live by the 1st of January 2020. And even then, not everything was in place, obviously. So it's a continuous, I wouldn't say struggle, but it's a continuous work to be done to not only maintain the actual solutions in place, but also to strive towards that target environment that we're looking for, both on the business side with the suppliers, but also on the technical side with the engine that we've put together now, and to make it complete, basically, to consolidate and move one by one the channels into this, because it's only then we can actually say and make use of the data coming through to enhance the business and enhance the customer experience in this. But now, nearly 1 year after going live, we do see some effects already now. We have renegotiated a lot of contracts. We have a target environment. We have a target suppliers, target banks we work with, and we've introduced a new way of working in this area, and we have consolidated all the future developments into payment as a service rather than anywhere else. Sorry about that. So, the key takeaways, and again, now I'm coming as a treasury guy, and it's been a learning curve for me. Obviously, I've reached a lot of new knowledge about. I've understood a lot of more aspects of the payment value chain and the processing of those. But there's a few things. First of all, customer must come first. It's the customer experience that will drive the sales. And it's only by actually the customer knowing and understanding what he or she does and liking the experience that he and she receives, that I, as a treasury guy, will be able to count the cash, and my CFO will be able to actually report a result. Now, there are many competences needed, and diversity does rule. Treasury cannot make a payment strategy alone, nor can IT, nor can the channels. We need to work together to be able to provide what is required. But this also means that there's a lot of wills that need to come together. And it is a bumpy road. And the larger you are, the more diverse business you have, the bumpier the road will be and the longer it will be. So management understanding of the issue, management buy-in of the ideas, and management commitment and communication around the issue is empirical. And as I think I implied, it is a long-term thing. So we need to have a long-term view. And you need patience for people to actually get it. It took a while for me to get it, and others may struggle still. I don't know. Well, that was all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joakim. And you have inspired to a lot of different questions from our audience. You heard we had 350 viewers?
Ooh.
Yeah. Good, I'm telling you now, right?
Good, you tell me that now.
Okay. So I've got a number of questions. The first one is, with all the regulations coming in place and increasing, how do you secure efficiency and innovation within that context?
Well, I think first of all, we need to understand the implications of the regulation, and we have an advantage because we operate in one regulatory framework. We have the same framework across all our markets, but we need to understand it, and we need to be able to interpret it, and we need to be able to test it as well. So obviously, a compliance function in good cooperation with the compliance function, where we can actually go and test, okay, so we want to do this, can we do it? Yes or no? And that's how we do it.
Yeah, that works good at Telia.
Well, so far.
Okay. You've talked about the strategy development that the ones that you've done. But how do you combine a strong strategy direction and being flexible, strategy and flexibility in an ever-changing landscape with new payment methods and customer demands?
I think it has to do with the way I see it, at least, is that if you can come together around a target somewhere, a North Star that you can follow, and you can have your management to put somewhat boundaries towards, we know that we are going to go in this direction, and here are the boundaries. And then let the experts do what they do. Let them solve the problems in the way that they feel the needs. As long as they keep on the right track between the borders, you will get there. But the world is not linear, and the road is not straight. So you need to be able to flexible. But if you have a strong view on the end goal, and that need to change as well, perhaps. But
and this prototyping that both you and Alexander has been talking about, that you've never done, right? No. What is the key success factor to ensure that you keep momentum and meet the customer experience and efficiency gains?
There's a number of things there. I think to keep momentum, I think we have gone from having big projects, trying to change the world, to small projects or small tasks, trying to solve this particular problem, and doing that within the framework as I spoke about earlier, and continuously do that, so that we don't get stuck in a big project kind of world, but rather striving to solve the little problems fast, rather than the big problems in a never-ending fashion.
Good. Now, as you put it in your presentation, is that payment services is not just one thing. It's obviously many things. So to be able to create these new services and new systems, you need to create an ecosystem of actors that work together, closely together with you, probably within the company and external companies and actors. So what do you think are the success factors when it comes to collaborating in cross-functional teams?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to understand what you know and understand what you don't know. Good. And I think also you need to be humble about what other people know. Otherwise, it's very hard to create an environment where a real collaboration can be done and where you can go forward. And that comes, that's on a personal level, obviously, but also between companies and between other parts, externally or internally. So I think it's knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know, and actually not being afraid to ask for help.
Being humble.
There's no stupid questions.